This whole story took place online over Discord. For privacy, I'll call my ex A and myself J. A is from the UK and I'm from Asia. I'm a 16-year-old female. Now, I've been told a lot, and I myself feel that I have this certain charm both offline and online that attracts many people to talk to me and befriend me, even though I'm very shy. But that also attracts a shit ton of predators. So I met A in mid-September over the user phone. I didn't really think much of it, and had started talking on his server when a friend of his had added me. A few days later, I was feeling really depressed, and while talking to A on his server, I spilled it out. He asked whether I wanted to talk about it, and that he'll always be there. I then thanked him for that. Later, he sent me a friend request to check up on me, and I honestly felt better. Since I was an honor student, it was the school and academic pressure which was really overwhelming me, but nothing serious. Anyway, so he and I started talking and getting to know each other a little bit better. A had his selfie as his profile pic, and he even has a SoundCloud profile which hit 3,000 followers. He kind of looked like Justin Bieber, but even cuter and more handsome. He was also very sweet to everyone, and smart, and all around just a perfect guy. I kinda started liking him as my very first serious crush, but had to crush myself because of my academics and his female friends. They just gave off the back off girl kind of vibes. So fast forward to January, we had developed this cute intimacy, but still unsure if it was platonic. He was also really sick and a bit depressed around Christmas last year, and I was there for him. We always both comforted each other in our ups and downs, but I decided to isolate myself for about a month off Discord this time. It was actually the whole February to study for my finals, and I did this previously for 4 to 7 days when A missed me even more. I was so out of it, so I didn't let him know and just went off for a month. Now, I wasn't cold or anything, and I didn't mean to ghost him. I was really just going through stuff, and our relationship being platonic hurt me even more. I even lost one of my dear professors in school since childhood in mid-February. I wanted to talk to him, but there was no going back. When I returned after the break and texted him, he then said, "Hey, I've missed you so much." And he later told me that he had a bad panic attack somewhere in February, and I wasn't there. I still regret that. I stayed close to him in March while also giving my finals, and we were really growing close to each other. We started dating in April, and boy was it so fine. He was very romantic, caring, and so gentle. Also, I'm not the casual type, but the serious lover type. It's just really wrong, and I want serious relationships if at all. The funny thing was that A never gave off any red flags, except for not texting me in just one text. I had to text him twice for him to notice me, but I completely understood his busyness. Also in March, he ended up losing his childhood dog, and again, I was there for him. He was even disappointed in his new job in IT, and I comforted him. Again, a critical situation for our relationship. He got out successfully through it though, and decided to adopt some kittens. Fast forward to the end of May. The other day I had this nightmare where I'd lost his Discord, all of his socials, and it was as if his virtual existence was gone. So then I got on the streets and started looking for him all over the world, but to no avail. I woke up and I started sobbing the next day to my teddy bear for 5 straight minutes. Losing him was the worst thing for me at the time. When I woke up, I had asked him to virtually hug me, and he told me that he was right here, that he really wished he was there to protect me, which made me feel better. Little did I know that it was my intuition. So about 2 weeks ago, I was quite bored, and I decided to do a wholesome prank on A. I signed into my alternate, and I added him there, changing my typing etiquette. I complimented that he has a really great voice, and how I got his Discord from SoundCloud. I had jokingly asked him what his age was, to which he then replied, "Oh, I'm 27. Of course, I thought he was kidding. So I then said, 27, you must be married. To which he then said back, "Nah, but I wish." I couldn't believe my eyes, but I thought maybe he was aware it was me, so maybe he was just playing around too. I then said, "But you're a really great person and you've got a great voice and you look so good, so why not?" A then replied back with saying that he had a bad history with girls. Then curiously, it made me ask, "So, are you single?" "Yeah, I am actually," he replied back. This was just way too much to process. I had never felt so heartbroken and betrayed. Was I with a fucking 27-year-old who lied to me the whole time that he was 20? Why didn't he trust me enough to even confess that? I mean, I was trusting him more than anything in the world. I could barely breathe, and I then confronted him on my main account. He casually said to me, "Look, I don't like my real info being around online, so I lie about my age left and right. The stuff that I share is either half a lie or completely made up. People have faked trying to be me before, Jay, and I honestly don't remember us talking about it." I told him just how fucked up that was, to which A then said, "I should have been more vigilant. Did I really say I was 20? And that was just enough for me." I told him that he was a fucking predator and that he really needs to get some help. He then unfriended me and left all of our mutual servers, and so did I. I tried reaching out to him on Instagram by making a temporary account to apologize for calling him a predator. He even deleted all of the potential info messages from his side in our chat. From 4,000 messages to 917 now. Luckily, I have the screenshots of our last talk on Discord. Also, one more thing. 2 weeks before our breakup, he told me that his dad had cancer, and I really wanted to be there for him for that. I don't really want to judge him on one aspect, since he's a good person aside from this fuck up, and nor am I holding on to any grudges. I was even planning to find some good UG colleges for data science or astrophysics in the UK, just so I can move in with him and start it in real life. But, well, I guess fate has different plans. I really do hope A has the best in his life. This was really a wake-up call for me that sometimes people aren't who they seem to be. I'm 22 years old, but I was 16 at the time of this story. I was very lonely and depressed as a teenage girl. I really felt invisible to guys my own age, and I seemed to never really keep friends. The one who I lived across the street from moved, but I was still friends with her on Facebook. One of her friends had sent me a friend request. He was 38 years old. At the time, I didn't really see anything wrong with it, so I added him back. He messaged me asking me how I knew my friend, so I explained. Then we just had a normal conversation, and I was being nice and polite, but then he slowly started getting flirty. And I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed the attention, so I let it continue, even though I knew it wasn't right. He started trying to convince me to send inappropriate pictures, and out of fear of being alone, I did it without even thinking. Then he kept trying to find a way to try and meet me, and also saying what he'd like to do with me. I slowly grew uncomfortable with this, but I didn't want to tell anyone, because I didn't want to get into trouble. But one day out of nowhere, he just stops messaging me. So I found out later, a few weeks later while watching the news, that he ended up getting arrested for flirting with other minors as well, and he got caught. I don't know what he was charged with or how long he went to jail for, but it's absolutely disgusting that he was doing this with so many other young girls. Let this be a lesson. Never let an adult, no matter who they are, compliment you beyond saying you're pretty or try to spend alone time with you. Don't fall for it, and please stay safe out there. So to start this story, I'm a 28-year-old female. I'm very petite at 5'3" and around 130 pounds. I'm also pretty curvy, which has always brought me some unwanted attention. I'll be making some changes to provide some anonymity to the people involved. I work for a very busy trucking company, so I don't have much time to meet people. I started dating one of the mechanics who worked in our shop. We'll call him Drew. Everything was going well, and we kept it quiet, as we didn't want it to be public knowledge. Workplace romance has a tendency to get dramatic, and neither of us wanted this. There was also another mechanic at work who we'll call River. He was always a bit of a strange guy, but I guess strange is relative these days. He had been on short-term disability as he broke his ankle. I sent him a friendly, "Get better soon" message, as it seemed like the nice thing to do. Several people at work also joined in and sent get well messages. He only responded to mine though, and then said, "Thank you. I'm glad you think of me." I thought that was a little weird, but just said back, "Yeah, we're all thinking of you. You need to come back to work soon." To which he then replied back with, "Why don't you send me some nudes?" I thought, okay, that's just gross. Then I ignored it. A day goes by with no messages, so I figured it just must be his sense of humor. Then he adds me on Snapchat. He started sending me videos of him, well, playing with himself. I didn't respond and then deleted him. Then he added me under a different name. I told him to stop, and then he said, "Oh, come on. You know you like it, Bella. I'm in love with you, and I know you feel it too." So again, I ignored and deleted him. I then debated telling Drew, but again, didn't want dramatics. A couple of weeks go by, and no messages. Thank goodness. I figured his crush must be over. Oh, how wrong I truly was. He came back to work for light duty. The day he came back was the absolute worst. In the morning toolbox meeting, I could feel him staring at me. When I looked, he had his phone up, and I assumed he was looking at something on his phone. Nope. He was actually taking pictures of my ass, to which he then sent to me on his new Snapchat identity snap story with a caption saying, "Check out this fat ass. Looking good." I was so upset about this that I just went upstairs without a word. I was pretty shaken up, so I just started my work without a word. My cell phone started blowing up with messages from friends on Snapchat, such as, "Is this you?" and "Bella, why are there so many pictures of you with your pants down?" I finally looked to see what was happening. He had followed me to the bathroom and then took pictures from under the stall door without me even knowing. I was so upset about this, but this time I saved all the messages and photos. Drew had sent me a message asking if I was okay, although I was far from it. I just said, "Sure, I'll be fine." I didn't want him to worry about something that I didn't want to believe was potentially a very bad situation. So anyways, lunchtime rolls around, and I always left to go let my dog outside to pee at lunch. Once I returned, I tried the back door code to get in, but it wouldn't open. I tried again, and I then heard a very creepy laugh. River was holding the door closed. I started to yell for him to let me in and that this isn't funny. So he opens the door, and he's now standing there in his coveralls, but the zipper near the bottom was open, and he had his private area all hanging out, which I might add was also caught on camera. My boss takes our security very seriously. I was scared and mortified, and instantly had tears stinging in my eyes, and I pushed right past him. Drew heard some commotion, so he came to find me, asking if I was okay. I was so shaken that I just ran to the bathroom. River then told him that I had tripped. As Drew was messaging me, River saw my name on his phone, and that's when things blew the fuck up. River started to get mad at Drew, then asking, "So what, are you with Bella?" To which Drew replied back with, "Yeah, why is that any of your business?" To which River replies with, "She's my girlfriend. We're in love and we're moving away together. So what do you think of that?" Our HR department was then notified as another mechanic who we'll call Dustin came upstairs to report that there seems to be a fight starting. River was then brought upstairs by Dustin, and my boss asked what the issue was. Then they asked me for my side of the story. Shaking, I showed them all of the messages I saved. "He's clearly lying," I said. River then started laughing and then said, "It's okay, baby, tell them. Tell them that you need daddy to take good care of you." I was beyond scared. Daddy? What the fuck is he talking about? "River, you know none of this is true. I'm dating someone." "I don't care. You belong to me. We're in love." I actually had to leave that office as I was shaking in fear at this point. He ended up being escorted from the building by Dustin as things got a bit aggressive. Drew for 1 second started to believe him until I showed him the crazy messages. That was very upsetting to me. By now, everyone now knew that he and I were dating and that River had delusional ideas that he and I were in a relationship. He asked me why I would send a get well message like it was my fault that he took it as I was interested. Even after River was gone, I got messages from several new numbers and Snapchat IDs, and I ended up having to get a full protection order in order to stop him. His messages ranged from him telling me he loves me to calling me a stupid bitch and telling me he'll kill me if he can't have me. Once they served the protection order, he finally stopped. Drew and I broke up as it really hurt me that he somewhat victim blamed me. We've remained friends and he's a great mechanic, but a terrible boyfriend. As for River, I hope we never meet him again. I do really hope that he got the help that he so desperately needed. Remember, just because someone's nice to you does not mean they're interested in you. Hey everyone, I hope you all enjoyed these stories. If you ever want to submit your own, you can do so at southerncannibal.com. Have a good night everyone. And remember to always stay